Sam Raimi was involved and had been developing something with them, and it had been happening for a long time, and I was like really curious about when is this film going to come out, because obviously as a fan of the game and of just fantasy films in general, I was really curious to know when that film was going to come out, and it wasn't happening, and then I started making movies and was successful with source code, and was able to have a meeting and sort of pitch, well not pitch it, but ask about it when I was actually there to ask about a different project.
John Jashney, who's our president, had been long seeking the rights to it and working with Blizzard, brought it to Legendary, and it's something that everybody, Thomas, John, everybody at Legendary has been passionate about making for a long time, but wanting to be sure that when we finally do bring it to the screen, that we bring the right story.
Duncan's big pitch when we joined the project was to really bring the same kind of balance to the screenplay and the movie that you experience as a player in the game, so actually feel comfortable rooting for both sides.
It's a first contact story, and it's a first contact about a group of orcs who are forced to flee where they're originally from and find a new home.
We had been down the road with multiple options before, and when Duncan came in and presented, as I mentioned, his sort of take on the Charles Levitt script, which was, let's have good and evil on both sides, and it's sort of the fantasy version of Heat in that way.
Duncan, as you can see from our two previous movies, really cares about character, and that's what is going to help separate Warcraft from a video game adaptation and actually being just a film that stands to be recognized in its own right.
The first thing that really hit me when I spoke to Duncan about the project is that he wanted to be very clear that it wasn't a black and white story, and he really wanted to humanize the Horde and really humanize the Orcs, and he wanted people to be able to identify with them.
It's got just this iceberg of culture already around it that Duncan and the producers and the writers have been smart enough to mine. It's exceptional not because it's going to change the way video game to movies are done. It's exceptional because it's an exceptional property to begin with.
The things that separates Warcraft from a video game adaptation per se is the fact that there isn't a specific linear story in the world of Warcraft. We're being transparent about the fact that it's starting at the beginning of the kind of Warcraft canon and focusing in on orcs versus humans.
Duncan has the enthusiasm of a child about this, and the grasp of a great mind. I mean, he totally gets this whole world, and certainly the whole story. I've never seen him less than thrilled. He just seems to be so happy to be on this set and learning about this technology and exploiting it in ways that I think is even surprising the people that have invented it.
It's quite astonishing what they are now capable of. I've never seen anything like it, and it's very, very exciting to understand. So you're there, but you still have to imagine that this is a huge beast that you're dealing with and talking to. But when you see what it's like, and when you see that the facial expressions and the eye reactions are going to be human and realistic, then you have faith in the work that you're doing.
Every single one of these sets, nearly, is in the game. And I've spent so many hours and days and days and days in these sets in the game that every single one, when I step onto it, it's like, I get like the heart beats faster, a bit of adrenaline runs. I'm like, yes, this is it. We're here. I'm actually really here this time. I'm not just in the game. Like every time I step onto a set, whether it's the throne room or even the armory or the Black Morass, anything, it's just the most exciting moment. I've had the opportunity, and I've been very lucky in my life to work with some really great directors. And Duncan stands tallest among them in terms of his creativity, his intelligence, kindness. He cares about this product.
I've never witnessed or seen anyone that is so prepared with regard to every moment of every scene, and that is so reassuring, especially on a film with this scale.
It's a priority for me to get it right. I've put that burden on myself. The key is to make sure that it's a film and these are characters that you care about, it's absolutely based in Blizzard lore, but at the same time, it's got to work as a story, and you've got to care about the characters. And I think people will do that.